Hey guys, you can't see me, but it's Steve Sleepy Sea, FlyingGiants.com, and we are here with Brandon Chitty, and we're going to talk to him about his brand new airplane that they designed that's hopefully coming out on Fancy Foam. And I think he's going to give us a little insight into the HITEC radio, the Aurora 9, which he also represents. So, Mr. Brandon, go ahead and take it away, sir.
All right, well, this airplane actually does not have a name yet. It's still in the works. We really wanted to come out with something really cool. This is actually the scheme that will be on the airplane. We already have it drawn up for printing, minus the Aurora 9 and the HITEC, so you can put whatever on there that you'd like. But really cool scheme, really cool airplane. I'll show you some of the things that are a little bit different about this airplane compared to maybe something else. Now, this is a VVP setup, so when you have it, you wouldn't have your whole braces here. You just mount your motor to the front just like Yak or any of the other models from Fancy Foam. This is actually a milled version too, just to get some of the weight away from the VVP. But anyways, this airplane is a great flying airplane. Having a really good time with it this weekend. One of the differences with this airplane compared to other monoplanes is I really wanted, a lot of people know I've been flying that Max and that biplane forever, you know, and I just wanted to make a change, wanted to do something different. I never liked monoplanes because you couldn't fly them erratic, you couldn't just be crazy with them. And so working with some stuff, one of the things I didn't like about monoplanes is the wings were so flexible and they moved around a lot when you really tried to push those G maneuvers on it and stuff. So we've been working with it. We put that flat carbon spar right in the center of the wing. If you look at the whole cord of the wing, it's right in the center. And then we also put these braces here. I'm still trying to get it a little bit stiffer, so we're looking at changing the X bracing too. But really, it's going to be a really stiff, really hard pushing, hard handling airplane that you can really throw around and always know that you're in full control of it. So that's one of the main differences on this airplane compared to something else. As you can see, it's boost tab. We also have a really big elevator on here, which makes for awesome erratic maneuvers. Also exaggerated rudder as well. And if you look at the profile of this airplane, you can tell it's really thick, which is for great knife edge loops. And one thing that I think it helps so much that I didn't even consider this plane for is for a pattern, for a slow flying pattern and FAI stuff. This is a great flying airplane. So when I get back, I'm going to talk to Mike Hamill at Fancy Foam, and we're going to cut a milled one and put some air brakes on it. Because in the contest yesterday, I think if I would have known that it was flying as good as it is, you know, minus the VVP, I have another one over there that's not set up like this, but I think I would have used it because it really is drawing straight lines. It's really accurate. You throw those ailerons and stop them, and it's just extremely precise, and visually it looks good flying through the sequences. But that's some of the differences on this airplane than you'd see somewhere else. And of course, we always want a variety. I think it looks pretty cool. Hope you do too. The scheme, like I said, will be the scheme that's on this airplane, designed by Adam Dreyer up in Wichita. But he actually airbrushed this one. But we have it all drawn up so that you'd have that same scheme too from Fancy Foam available to you. So that's the airplane. I just haven't flown ailerons. I have a 50-65, and then on the tail surfaces, I just have HS-50s. Hopefully, well, I'm supposed to have, by the ETOC, I'm supposed to have the new 35s from HITEC, which are going to be about half the size of a 50 with more power. So that's really going to change the game, what I put on these, and hopefully what you guys put on your airplanes. But and as you can see on my VVP, for you those of you interested, I have the 50-45, which is a digital servo, and it just holds that thing so solid. I mean, you'll never have any kind of movement, and people will see it and see it work, and they can tell that it just has it has instant response and there's no lag. The servos never give. So that's a little bit about the airplane itself, and like I said, it's still in the works, but this is pretty much what you'd see in a finished product. Our new radio, hopefully you guys have been keeping up and have seen some of the talk about the new Aurora 9. Great radio. One of the main things that people are excited about is the telemetry feature. Basic telemetry feature is the onboard voltage. I even get onboard voltage from my foamie right now. One thing too is I know we don't have any of the really small indoor receivers, and they're supposed to come out this summer. But for those of you that want to get an Aurora 9 and use the receiver for indoor, this is the full range receiver that I use outdoors on my 150cc airplanes, and it is actually sub 8 grams, so it's just under 8 grams, and really light. You just take the case off, you can replace it back on. I went ahead and cut the boost tab off, the antenna. You don't have to do that, but it saved a little bit more weight, so I went ahead and did that for my competition airplanes. But the radio itself, really cool. Just at a first look, you see we have red anodized knobs, full ball bearing gimbals. All your switches are assignable. You have some momentary switches, 3-way switches, and then your normal switches that you see on your radio. On the back side, as you can see, a lot of people were worried about this wire. One thing that we wanted to keep the wire, or keep it modulated. I was actually talking to a couple people earlier that came up, and they were appreciative that they were able to buy this radio and still use their 72 megahertz stuff, because that's something that they still would like to be able to use, and this gives them the option. A lot of people were worried about this, but if you can tell, it really stays nice and tight against the case. I've never had a problem with it at all. But also, you can totally take these little soft grips, adjust any of your gimbals, adjust any of your ratchets on either side. Stock, it comes with a 1300 nickel metal hydride battery. I have in here a 1500 lithium polymer that's half the size, less than half the weight, and it just makes it a lot lighter. Battery lasts all weekend, even in an environment like the E-Fest where you're flying all the time. So, and it has an actual setting inside the radio to where you can set it for that voltage. So when it starts getting low, it can read your voltage and give you the correct voltage of that new battery, the LiPo battery. So when you first turn on your airplane, or your radio, you can see it's going to ask you to transmit or not. That way, if you're working in your radio, you're not using so much of the battery whenever you're working in it. So we're just going to go ahead and hit no. You can tell it's full touchscreen. Now the touchscreen works really nicely on it. Here's your percentage of your battery. You could also change that to say your voltage as well. Your 2 timers here that you can set up on any kind of switch. Your 3 menus here. Your trims. When you turn the radio on and you plug it into an airplane, you'll actually see a battery voltage here. It'll look like a little battery with a number inside. That's your voltage. When you click on any of the menus, you see 3 menus up at the top. These you can switch through any from that one menu, but it takes you to the same thing if you go to any of these other menus. So your custom menu, you can just throw stuff in there that you use all the time. You can see all of your programming here. 2 of 2. There's a second page with some more options. You see your model select, all your stuff that is in the system. You can the channels are fully assignable. You can go in there and do that. Under power is where you change the voltage to light poly. Trim step, all your stuff that you need. One of the cool thing I'll go ahead and show you guys is this is the expo and the rate area. But one thing that you can do when you assign a switch I think is just really cool. You click on your switch and you activate it. But to select the switch, you can see it actually shows you a picture of the top of the radio. And all you do is you just click and you can just choose which one that you want. So that one was for just the ailerons. So what I do is I'd click and I'd want it to be this switch up here. And what I do is just assign it to that switch, and say I wanted all of my rates to be on that one switch. Well, all I'd have to do is do that for each one and assign it to that switch. You could put every condition on one switch. You could put every condition on different switches. Say that you wanted your high rates and low rates up here, but you wanted just a rudder rate over here. You could definitely do that. You can make every switch up there a rate switch. So that's one thing that's really cool. One thing that they've been talking about online that they've been doing as well is they're able to actually change some of the flight conditions in flight using some of the knob buttons and things up here, which is awesome, to where you could change some things in the air without having to come down, land it, change it, and then see what the effect is. So that's one cool thing about it as well. I have not seen anything that you cannot do with this radio that you would want to do. They really took their time on this and perfected it. I know it took a while to come out, but I think you'll be happy with the product. and what it can do for you.
What's the retail on that? Do you remember?
I think it's $429 with the receiver. I'm pretty sure.
So it's an affordable radio.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can get into one of these for what you could have gotten into, a 72, just a couple years ago. That doesn't have nearly the specs and everything. Very good feel. Everybody that picks it up really thinks that it flies really, really well, and it feels really nice on their fingers and throughout some of the movements and stuff. So it's a really nice radio. I really enjoy it, and I think you will too if you get your hands on it. Everybody that picks it up and goes through it, they're like, that's my next radio. So hope you're interested, and check it out. And if you have any questions, you can contact me. There's a form on Flying Giants that says Aurora 9 announced, and Mike Mayberry from HITEC can also help you out with that as well.
Thank you so much, Brandon.
No problem.
Talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.